Starting on page 14, item 11O. This item has been withdrawn by the applicant. It's item 11O on page 14.
Okay.
On page 15, unsecured structures, these items will all be listed, stricken from the agenda. Item H 2200 Northeast 22nd Street, the owner is secured. Item L 1216 Northwest 98th Street, the owner has secured. Continuing on page 15, item 11T1, abandoned buildings. Item G is stricken from the agenda for the same reasons. It's 1216 Northwest 98th Street. That's all that I have.
All right. That brings us then to item 8, revocable permits and events. We have item 8A, a limited revocable rowing and paddle practice use permit with the River Sport Foundation for use on weekdays from October to September of 26. Doesn't look like we have anybody here for this one, which is quite all right. Councilman Pennington.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we have some really exciting events always going on at River Sport, and so I'm happy to support this event and move approval.
All right. We'll look for a motion then. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 8B is a joint revocable permit with the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust and the LifeShare Foundation to hold the Little Red Heart Run Walk Social at Lake Hefner on September 20th. And we do have Caitlin Burks here.
Hello, Caitlin Burks, 4705 Northwest Expressway. The Little Red Heart 5K Run Walk Social is at Lake Hefner's Stars and Stripes Park on September 20th. The event will kick off with registration at 7:30 a.m. and will conclude around 11 a.m. This is a wonderful opportunity for the entire state of Oklahoma to come together to celebrate, honor, and remember the incredible gift of life through organ donation. We'll have a 5K run on Burt Cooper Trail, and then we'll have a 1-mile memorial walk to honor those who gave the incredible gift of life through organ donation. We also have a kids zone, a DJ, a food truck with breakfast items and coffee, and just a time of fellowship with the entire community surrounding organ donation.
All right, thank you. This is in wards 1, 2, and 8, so anyone can feel free to jump in.
What a great event. I'm glad you're here today to make us more aware about it, this great cause and the event, and I'm here to move to support it at this time.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes when you can. Passes unanimously. All right, item 8C is a revocable right-of-way use permit with AIDS Walk of OKC to hold the AIDS Walk of OKC on October 5th on Sheridan. And we have Guy Peters.
Good morning, guys. Let's see. Good morning, Mayor and Council. On Sunday, October 5th, Oklahoma will gather at the beautiful Myriad Gardens for the AIDS Walk OKC Walk for a Cure to End HIV. This year's theme is Rise Up and Walk Proud. Our call to the city is to stand tall, fight stigma, and move closer to a future without HIV. For the past 27 years, AIDS Walk has raised funds that stays local, supporting HIV testing, treatment, and education for our neighbors right here in Oklahoma City. This year, we are especially proud to honor the Oklahoma Ryan White HIV/AIDS program as our Grand Marshal. Their daily work ensures thousands of low-income Oklahomans get care and medication they need to live full, healthy lives. On October 5th, we will walk to remember those who've lost, to celebrate progress we've made, and to declare proudly that HIV will not define us or divide us. And we warmly invite all members of the City Council to join us at the Myriad Gardens, walking side by side with the community you represent. When our city leaders walk with us, it sends a powerful message that you matter, you belong, and your city walks with you. So today, I respectfully ask your approval to hold the 2025 Walk for a Cure at the Mary Gardens. With your support, we can make this the most impactful event yet. Let's rise up and walk proud together on October 5th. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. This is in Ward 6 and 7.
Well, yeah, I was able to join, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, and it was a really great event. Love to see all the different organizations out supporting, so I'm happy to move for approval.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, next up is 8D. This is a revocable right-of-way use permit with Capitol Hill Main Street to hold Fiestas de las Americas on September 27th on Southwest 25th. And we have Gloria Torres signed up, but not sure she's here at the moment. Oh. Gloria, you wanted to make a dramatic entrance, so you sat in the very back.
Good morning, Mayor, City Manager, and council members. I am extremely excited and honored to be here to invite you to help us celebrate Fiestas de las Americas' 20th anniversary in Oklahoma City. This year in particular, it's a double special event in that not only are we celebrating our city's multicultural Hispanic heritage celebration of members of our community, but we are also celebrating the significant investment made by this chamber, by our council members in South Oklahoma City, and celebrating and recognizing the cultural diversity we will be doing our ribbon cutting for our Calle Dos Cinco Plaza. And so we are super excited to host the official ribbon cutting on Wednesday, and you will be getting an invitation from me. The official ribbon cutting on Wednesday, September 24th, 11:30 to 1, probably closer to, well, let's just keep it at that one. And then on Saturday, we invite you to come back out for the Fiestas de las Americas festival, where we will host a second community ribbon cutting of the plaza. So we know everybody has very busy schedules, so we have planned for two to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be a part of this and to see what you guys have been voting on and making investments in South OKC and the diverse representation that we have in our community.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. And this is also in Ward 6 and 7.
Yeah, very exciting. Congratulations on 20 years. I've been sort of watching the plaza come to life, and very excited to see it almost done, and just very excited to see the development that is happening through that. So happy to move for approval and looking forward to the festival later this month.
Yes. Okay, that's it.
The motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. All right, next up, 8E is a revocable right-of-way use permit with the Friends of Uptown Foundation to hold Uptown Outside on October 18th on North Lee. And we have Latoya Mason and Juliana Lopez here.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, if you remember, about 4 years ago, we went on a mission to bring the Uptown 23rd District and its community and its neighbors from inside to outside post-COVID. And here we are 4 years later, still going strong. This year, our footprint is on between 23rd and 24th, Lee, Guernsey, and Dewey this year. So we shortened our footprint. We've got a very strategic plan on why, and Juliana will explain that. But we've got some incredible partners this year. We've got OG&E, we've got Stone Cloud. Our claim to fame is our community skate park, which is sponsored by Money Ruins Everything. This year, our staged is 100% local artists. So you guys will get to enjoy some of our incredible talent right here from Oklahoma City, Dinosaur Boyfriend and Seraphina Bird, and some other incredible artists that will be joining us. And so we really hope that you all will continue to support this event, as it has been an incredible part, an intricate weave of the Uptown 23rd District, its community and its neighbors. And so now we'll kind of talk about a little bit why we are changing the footprint this year.
Thank you. I'm Juliana. I'm the district manager for Uptown 23rd. We have condensed our footprint. We are kind of in a limbo of waiting for our streetscape to start, which we're really excited about, something that will alter how our residents, our neighbors, our businesses navigate 23rd. And we're also recognizing the change in nonprofit funding and grants and money available and people's capacity. So by condensing our footprint, we're kind of, we're hedging our bets a little bit that no matter how big or small that footprint is, we'll have folks come out and support. And we're also showing people how they can best navigate 23rd Street while coming from maybe the neighborhood areas and just not having to drive on 23rd Street. But after that streetscape, which we're again so excited about, we are planning to be back on 23rd, back with a bigger capacity and a big strong committee to be able to pull off one of our biggest events yet.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. So this is in wards 2 and 6.
Hi. It's such a delight when I see Ward 2 residents show up, and especially people who are in the service positions that you all are representing right now. And you have my full support. I got to host this event a couple years ago, and I really appreciated that opportunity. The skate part of it is just so delightful to see, and I love just seeing people walking around and in their wheelchairs or however they are able to get around and not have to worry about the automobile as a danger. And so I really appreciate the work you all are doing, and I would move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, item F is a revocable right-of-way use permit with Red Coyote Running and Fitness to hold the Red Coyote Runtoberfest 5K on October 5th on West Park Place. And we have John Osland here.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is the 11th year for the Red Coyote Runtoberfest 5K. It is actually the oldest of our events that we put on, about 10 throughout the course of the year, and kicks off our fall running event season. We have partnered from the beginning with Girls on the Run to help young ladies in the Oklahoma City metro area and discover socialization and power through running, and we're looking forward to another great year. We'd love to invite you guys out to join us.
All right, well, this is in Ward 6, Councilwoman Hammond.
There it goes. Okay, sorry, my mic was having a little difficulty. Excited that you all always do such a good job hosting these events, and always very happy to host them in Ward 6. So I am happy to move for approval.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously.
Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to recess the council now and convene as the Oklahoma City Municipal Facilities Authority. We have items A through E, but we do have a presentation on item A, and it may also include a presentation on some later items as well, just for efficiency.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We have Angela Pierce, our new finance director, here with us today. So welcome, Angela. And she's got her accounting team here. I know she'll introduce her team and recognize them and the work they've done. She's going to go ahead and present on item A, which is the annual audited financial, comprehensive annual financial reports for the MFA. She'll go ahead and talk about PPA, which is on PPA-B, and then she's going to also talk about the city's annual comprehensive financial report, which is item BL on the consent agenda. So she'll go ahead and just present all those together. There's just relationships between all three of them, so it's just generally easier to cover all of them together. So I'll let Angela go ahead and give us the presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Angela Pierce, Finance Director. Today I'm here presenting your fiscal year 24 annual financial statements. But before I get to those details, I have to take a moment to provide some recognition. Today here we have our accounting services staff, which is led by Alex Fedak. I'm going to ask that group to stand up, please. This team that you have before you today has experienced significant challenges due to our ERP transition. They have been put to the test, and they have passed. They worked many extra hours, nights, weekends, and even some holidays. Their grit, determination, and commitment are unmet. They are the reason that I'm able to stand here before you today and present these financial statements. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the other divisions within the finance department and other financial staff around the city and our trusts. Through their collaboration and especially their patience, we're able to get here today. So please join me in thanking this crew. I couldn't be prouder of their accomplishments. All right, now on to the meat. First, I'd like to thank our external auditors, Allen, Gibbs, and Hewlett. They have been stellar partners throughout. I'm going to refer to them as AGH. We met with AGH and City Council's Audit Committee on August 26th last month, and so they've been briefed on the details of this information. The biggest highlight that I have for you today is that we received an unqualified clean opinion, but more on that in just a moment. First, I need to talk to you about some significant delays. You would typically receive this presentation and this report in December. We went through an ERP implementation, and that came with significant challenges and delays. With some of those challenges and delays, we were unfortunate enough to endure some audit adjustments. Through our internal controls and our partnership with our external auditors, some audit adjustments were identified. The good news is that we've taken these audit adjustments and incorporated them into the financial statements that you have before you today. We have clear documentation and many lessons learned that will prevent us from having these audit adjustments in the future. Because these audit adjustments were included in the financial statements that you have before you, I'm able to share the good news that we have an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. That definition is there for you on this slide, but I won't get into the nitty-gritty details. This unmodified or clean audit opinion is important for many reasons. One of many that you're all familiar with is our bond rating. For your municipal facilities authority, your net position increased by $1.2 million. For your public properties authority, your net position increased by $7.1 million. And just to remind you, your net position is your assets minus your liabilities. For the city annual financial comprehensive report, your net position increased by $300 million. And finally, your total component units net position increased in a combination of $200 million. All three of these reports are moving in a positive financial direction. And if you'd like more detailed information, but in a somewhat summarized Capacity, I would refer you to the management discussion and analysis portion of each report. So now I'm going to talk to you about next steps. The next thing that I'll be bringing to you is our single audit. To remind you, the single audit is our federal grants compliance document. We expect to have that issued next month. As I mentioned before, we've gotten a little bit behind schedule. Staff are working diligently to correct course and to get us back on track, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So what you can expect in the future is your FY25 financial statements. We're targeting a March 31st, 2026 issuance. With the following year, your FY26 audited financial statements getting back on track and those coming back to you by December of 2026. That is when we typically bring those to you, and that is our plan to get back on track. After your acceptance today, all of these reports and many others will be out on the website, okc.gov. And last, I want to personally thank you and from our entire team for your unwavering support with your acceptance today and your contractual support. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela. I appreciate the presentation of the financials. And she mentioned it. There have been a lot of challenges that we've had on this implementation. Often there are challenges with financial systems. We've implemented financial systems before and been able to get things done on time. We just had additional challenges this year. And how long did you say we've been on the legacy system?
We had been on the legacy system for approximately 21 years.
Yeah, and so like we're used to doing it one way, and now you're making these changes, and significant changes. I just do want to recognize that these challenges, we accept that, you know, there's things that we would do differently looking at it now from what we did before, and I think we're learning a lot of lessons through that. But this team put in so much extra effort and extra work during this time, as well as Angela recognized before, financial staff throughout the city organization put in so much extra time because of those challenges. And I just really want to recognize that and acknowledge that the challenges we had with the financial system are not a negative reflection on this team, that the work that they did really carried us through. And I appreciate Angela's work and Brent's leadership, Doug, as they've all worked through this with the team. And I really appreciate your patience as we've gone through this. It's definitely something that we're not used to experiencing, reporting late on our financial, doing our financial reports late. And it's really important to us that we get back on track. So I totally appreciate the commitment of working hard this year, working with our external auditors, working with the system folks, trying to get the report set up that we need. So just appreciate the leadership, appreciate all the work from the team, and you all continuing to support us through this. So thank you all. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. All right. Well, now we can adopt the OCMFA docket. We could take items A through E with one motion. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Now we'll adjourn OCMFA and convene as the Oklahoma City Public Property Authority. We already have items A through C. We can take with one motion. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Now we'll adjourn OCPPA and reconvene as the council, where we are on item 9, the consent docket. There are no scheduled presentations. Is there anything that a council member wishes to pull out for separate comment or vote, question? Hearing none, we can adopt the consent docket in its entirety. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 10 is the concurrence docket. We have items A through K we can take with one motion. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11 are items for individual consideration. Item 11A is an ordinance on final hearing. It was recommended for approval, rezoning 14300 North Westminster from AA to PUD 2076. Councilman Pennington.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I'll go ahead and tell, there are no one signed up to speak on any zoning case today, so I'll just leave it at that.
We can't be that lucky. And no, this is a pretty simple case. It's just a lot split in order to allow 2 homes on 8 acres as opposed to the 10 acres that would already allow that to happen. So I'm ready to move approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11B is an ordinance on final hearing. It was recommended for approval, rezoning 1309 Northeast 122nd from R1 AA, PUD 479, PUD 708, and PUD 1875 to PUD 2077. Councilman Pennington.
Thank you. This is about a data center coming to Northeast Oklahoma City. I understand the Planning Commission had quite a bit of discussion about this with regard to how it was going to impact the surrounding area with noise and other issues. I think they've addressed that through some of the technical evaluations that you see here. But I do think there is and I've met with the applicant about it. I do think this is something that in the future we need to be thinking about. How are data centers going to impact the use of electricity, water, other resources? And so I do think this is a chance for us as a council to start really thinking about what our policy is going to be moving forward about managing these issues. So I am in support of this. This is a much smaller scale for a data center, so I'm in support. But I do think we have to have a longer conversation. So with that, unless there's questions, I'm going to move approval.
May I?
Please, go ahead.
Praise be you bringing up that issue. As an English teacher, AI is something I think a lot about, and data, and a lot of the research that I'm coming across right now is showing that electricity and water, these data centers, AI, et cetera, are really not just tapping into, but draining in ways that will have consequences. And so it's more to the city manager. Would love for a deeper dive into that from people much more knowledgeable than me. I'm just a reader. So I don't know if there's anything you want to say about it now, but.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely looking at that with staff first initially. We've got a group that's getting together, like from an economic development standpoint, from the energy standpoint, from the water standpoint, and land use. And so having conversations. So we're just getting started on that, but I think it really is one. Western part of the city has seen a lot of interest in the same thing. And I think it's, you have 1 or 2 of these that happen and not an issue. You have many of these that happen at the same time, and it can create challenges. And so we're definitely taking a look at this.
With that, I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes 7-1. Next up is item 11C. This is an ordinance on final hearing that was recommended for approval, rezoning 3804 East I-240 from PUD 1810 to PUD 2079. Has anyone been tasked with Ward 4? Okay, here we go. Councilman Hinkle will handle this Ward 4 case.
This is a neighborhood going in off of Sooner Road and 240 next to our softball fields. And Mark, unless you have anything to add, I'll move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11D is an ordinance on final hearing recommended for approval, rezoning 2944 Southwest 8th from SPUD 1139 and SRODD to SPUD 1737 and SRODD. Councilwoman Hammond.
Yes, this is near just abutting the river off of South May for some commercial lodging, potentially multifamily residential. So I'll move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item E is an ordinance on final hearing. It was recommended for approval, rezoning 1900 Northwest 29th from R1 to SPD 1741. Councilman Cooper.
Would you mind coming up and describing this project for us, please? Klaus. Just trying to help you get some steps into. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning. Klaus Raman-Philipp. I'm the architect representing Nestor and Gladys Montoya on this project, and they've owned these two lots for quite a few years, and they are intending to redevelop it. Actually, one of them is vacant, the other has some old houses on the south lot, into a series of duplexes. I think what's unique on this project is that we tried to balance out having a certain amount of exterior livable space with these duplexes as well. And we're kind of careful to accommodate the parking in the way that the buildings still address the street and the sidewalk, the neighborhood. But yeah, so five duplexes are planned, so a total of 10 units, and that's kind of the long and short of it.
Thank you, and again, I appreciate the thoughtfulness in terms of balancing the parking needs with the street, in terms of how people are going to be interacting with these new structures, and not centering the parking. And I think these will be some interesting additions to the neighborhood, so I'll move for approval.
We appreciate it.
Passes unanimously. Item F is an ordinance on final hearing that was recommended for approval, rezoning 112 Southwest 26 from R4 to SPUD 1742. Councilwoman Hammond.
Yes, this is pretty straightforward residential use on a few empty lots off of South Robinson, so I will move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item G is an ordinance on final hearing that was recommended for approval, rezoning 17 Northwest 13th from PUD 1915 to SPUD 1743. Councilwoman Hammond.
Yes, this is for a daycare facility, so I'll move for approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item G is an ordinance on final hearing. That's right, we just did F, right? H, we did G. Item H is an ordinance on final hearing recommended for approval, rezoning 229 Northeast 95th from R1 to SPUD 1745. Councilman Pennington.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for expansion and improvements to the practice facilities for the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder, and so I move approval.
I have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11I is an ordinance on final hearing. It was recommended for approval, rezoning 2108 Southwest 11th from SPUD 185, SPUD 493, I2, SRODD, and SYT to SPUD 1748 and SYT. Councilwoman Hammond.
Yes, this is in the Stockyards commercial area. Seems complementary to surrounding uses of other industrial and commercial development, so I'll move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11J is an ordinance on final hearing. It was recommended for approval, rezoning 7708 Northwest 81st Circle from PUD 1731 and AE1 to SPUD 1749 and AE1. Councilman Carter.
Subject to the summary of technical evaluations, I approve, or move for approval, excuse me.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. All right, item K was already deferred, and that brings us to item L, which is an ordinance on final hearing recommended for approval, rezoning 1007 West Eubanks from C3 to SPD 1752. Councilman Cooper.
Yes, Mr. Box, would you join us at the podium, please, and tell us what you're up to here with your client? We'll start there. Thank you.
Sure. Good morning, David Box, 525 Northwest 11th Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, the architect for the project, also here. Ms. Welch, would you there we go. So this is at the corner of 36 and Western. It's been vacant for many years now. There was a building on the corner. It burned down, I believe, perhaps more than a decade ago. It's positioned in a place where you obviously have all wonderful things going on Western with restaurants, retail. You have the park and the Boys and Girls Club to our south and west, and you have a bunch of residential to our east and south as well. So this application would allow for the construction of a mixed-use development with predominantly multifamily with some non-residential uses on the ground floor. It was recommended unanimously for approval by Planning Commission. There are a couple TEs you see that we've agreed to. We've added some TEs, and then we would also, in corresponding with the council person, asked to add one other TE as it relates to some drainage. So with your permission, perhaps I'll read that into the record. So the TE that we would add would modify the drainage requirements in the PUD to state development of this parcel will comply with Chapter 16 of the Oklahoma City Municipal Code 2021 as amended. Stormwater detention shall be required for this development. Drainage calculations for the historic condition baseline runoff rate shall be based on undeveloped site conditions regardless of previous structures / impervious cover existing on the property in the past. The maximum fully developed flow rates, which are a combination of developed pond outflow and undetained site release, shall be 10% less than the historical runoff rate for the 100-year design storm. On-site retention and low-impact development strategies shall be incorporated into the proposed landscape areas on the property where achievable. I don't know what that means, but I'm told the engineers do.
Allow me to join in, and thank you. So to help council understand why I had to request this additional language, is just a block to the east of this proposed development at Eubanks and Francis. 6 years ago when I first took office, a young man, Jonathan, reached out. He had bought his first home, intended to be his only home there at Eubanks and Francis. Sent me a series of videos and photos where that entire intersection becomes waist-high rushing water anytime there is just a little bit more than a light spring rain. I've had neighbors on all four corners there worry. They describe this as an urgent need. I all but begged for this project in terms of drainage to be included on our bond. I've met with the city manager, I've met with Public Works. The cost to do the drainage work over here is so cost prohibitive in terms of the total the dollar amounts for the bond for drainage that we weren't able to do this here. In fact, we're probably going to do a much bigger project here. There's another one up the road at Venice and Eubanks. And these two drainage projects haunt me as a council person because they've been ongoing for years. Jonathan sold his home. He doesn't live there anymore because the water makes its way into these residents' homes. So you might imagine the conflict I felt because this image right here is a version of what I want to see across Ward 2 as infill. Mixed-use developments with ground-level retail. By the way, maps for, and this is so important, I can't articulate the vision for Ward 2 any clearer than this image. Right across the street, as David is talking about, is the Boys and Girls Club Youth Center. Imagine you are, go back, please. Because people sometimes lack imagination. And I want to make sure people can see what Ward 2 residents are asking me to do. They are asking for ground level retail, bookstores, coffee shops, these sorts of things, and sidewalks along the entrances to those buildings, so that when you're in a wheelchair and you are in your neighborhood, you have access on that sidewalk to these basic needs, whether it's the bodega or what have you. And then to have across the street from it a park, across the street from it a youth center, right? This is what Ward 2 residents are asking for: walkability, educational support, right? This is in so many ways perfect. But my worry was that putting a development here could exist to the east. That was my first concern. And then my second concern is that the drainage problems to the east could flow westward and affect the residents who would be living at this new development. And so the language that David has just read into a proposed TE is to say, and I think one of the key parts for me is that you have these different mitigation tools that you all are going to use here to actually reduce at the current levels, right? To come in under, was it 10%? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, so I think the biggest benefit is we're going to have to design it from the historical context being undeveloped rather than the time in the past in which it was developed. Meaning we're going to have to match what it is now, where it's undeveloped and presumably is having a significant amount of absorption. So I think that's a big benefit with how we've come up with this.
Yeah. All right, so in other words, we're not going to be exacerbating the problem there at Eubanks and Francis, right? And we're doing some mitigation in terms of the current runoff from this undeveloped site. Like, it is kind of exacerbating it. And what this new development's going to do is actually come in a little bit lower by 10% than where we are now. So adding this language in there becomes very useful. I don't know if council has any questions about why it was very important for me to have like an hour-and-a-half conversation with the engineers, the architect, and with David. But if you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to hear them. Cool. Thank you so much. And with that, I would move for approval.
With the
but
addition,
we need to
amend it.
I need to amend. I'm so sorry.
All right. So the amendment as previously stated.
I'd like to not read it again. Unless
Okay,
you want
sure.
to hear it.
I need.
You want to hear it? Okay.
All right, we'll see if we can bring that up for a vote. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. This is for the amendment. Passes unanimously. Councilman Cooper, in a reversal of roles, after your very practical discussion of drainage, I'd like to inject some history and sentimentality into this. This particular parcel is where my great uncles operated Robinson Brothers Drug for decades in Oklahoma City and owned the property probably for a half a century and operated it in that building that burnt down sometime in the last 10 years. So.
I was wondering, you had a look in your eye, because I always kind of look at people's body language, but you were just staring up there, and now I was like, wow, he must really care about mixed-use development. That's great. Oh, okay.
Well, sentimental parcel here in the city for my family.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing.
There you go.
So, my apologies. I don't think we've actually approved the SPUD yet. That was just the
No,
amendment.
correct.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the.
No, we're just going to hear out nostalgia for a little bit.
Right.
I'll move for approval whenever the nice computer gods let us.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
Passes unanimously. Okay, item 11M is an ordinance on final hearing that was recommended for approval, rezoning 311 South Miller Place from R2 to SPUD 1754. Councilwoman Hammond.
Yes, this is to allow some industrial uses and is very complementary to the area that is all largely industrial, so I will move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Okay, item N is an ordinance on final hearing that was recommended for approval, establishing a special permit to operate use unit 8300.56, participant recreation and entertainment outdoor in the C3 district found at 12100 North May. Councilman Pennington.
This is to further feed the desire of Oklahoma City residents to have more pickleball courts. We just don't seem to have enough.
No, it's insatiable.
And it's making better uses for the North Park Mall. So I think that's cool too. It's win-win, Mayor. I move approval.
Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. All right, item O was previously withdrawn, which brings us to item P. This is an ordinance on final hearing related to drainage and flood control. We previously received a presentation on this. It updates our FEMA map. And so today is our second of two meetings on this proposed ordinance change, and we can take it up for a vote if the council so desires. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. 11Q is an ordinance on final hearing that was previously introduced and presented. This amends the Oklahoma City Municipal Code relating to hunting licenses. There's no further presentation. The council could take it up for a vote if they so wish. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. All right, item 11R1 is the public hearing regarding the dilapidated structures here listed. Amy, has anyone signed up to speak?
No, they haven't.
They haven't, so we'll advance to the resolution found at R2 declaring the structures are dilapidated. Got a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11S1 is a public hearing regarding unsecured structures here listed. Amy, has anyone signed up to speak?
No, they haven't.
Not, and so we'll advance the resolution found at S2 declaring the structures are unsecured. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. Item 11T1 is a public hearing regarding the abandoned buildings here listed. As Amy, has anyone signed up to speak?
No, they haven't.
They have not, and so we'll advance the resolution found at T2 declaring that the buildings are abandoned. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. All right, 11U1 is a settlement agreement with McNatt and Company. Executive session is not requested. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. V1A is a claim recommended for denial. Executive session is not requested. For motion and a second, cast your votes. Passes unanimously. W1A through D are claims recommended for approval. Executive session is not requested. We have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. Passes unanimously. That concludes votes for the day. Item 12 is comments from council. Ward 1, Ward 2.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, this is a request, I believe, to you, actually. So our Ward 2 office has entered several now complaints regarding a vendor who is operating at the intersection of 23rd and Classen in the CVS parking lot, selling thunder gear. Boyd has done yeoman's work, always entering this in, but any time code enforcement goes out there to this vendor, they say that they're not there, but I see them almost daily. We've received complaints from residents about it. This same vendor or a similar vendor is operating on Northwest Expressway about a block west of Villa and the library. I don't know. I don't know how we're missing it, so I'm elevating it now to this level. I appreciate any guidance on that, City Manager. And then related to that CVS, I'm gonna need some help from the City Manager's office and maybe the planning department, because right now we have, and if you think, Council, as you just saw that image at 36th and Western, right? So you have this new zoning, this development coming in there across from Guest Room Records, Memorial Park, Boys and Girls Club, entrance into the Western Avenue District. And then you have this proposal that's going in there. Something similar should be happening at 23rd and Classen into the entrance into our Asian district. Across from the Gold Dome, where we now have a TIF, a tax increment finance district financing tool that is allowing a music venue to go there. Right down the street from where Uptown District is about to have a streetscape you heard at the start of today's council meeting, where Tower Theater is helping to revitalize Ward 2 and Ward 6. But right now we have a corporate owner who has closed CVS. They have not communicated to me, to Councilwoman Hammond, who both share 23rd Street, any plans for what they intend to do with this intersection, which is also Route 66. And I think that is malpractice. Currently, depending on the day of the week that one drives by under what used to be the drive-through at CVS there, one will find people who are experiencing homelessness, sleeping under those drive-ins when they should be in a home with wraparound services, stabilizing them, but that's not happening. But the vendor who's taking up shop there in that parking lot, which by the way is also where a bus rapid transit station is, where our planned streetscape for our Asian district will be. The two together tell me what that intersection should be. You have the desire for retail there, right? And that's what the vendor and people are clearly shopping there. And then the fact that you have people sleeping there as if it's housing tells us that there's a housing need there. This reminds me of the concept in planning called desire lines, when we see worn down grassy paths along residential streets or arterial roads. Those are called desire lines. And that tells us that people have a desire to walk there. That's where you will find often are building our new bond and maps for sidewalks. So psychologically, it tells me when I see a vendor taking up shop right there at the intersection of 23rd and Penn, and I see people shopping there, it tells me there's a need to shop there. And when I see people unhoused there, that tells me housing is a need there. Not rocket science. But I am a school teacher, and I don't travel in the corporate circles, so I don't know how to connect with corporate, but the city of OKC does, right? We are AAA bond rated, 20th largest city, 6th fastest growing. And I think in instances like this, where a corporate actor is abdicating their redevelopment responsibilities, we can intervene. And that's what I would ask us to do in this moment, is to intervene and ask these people, this entity, what is their plans for this intersection? And if they have no plans, we do. We must. We absolutely must. This is Route 66 again. This is the Asian district. This is right down the street from Uptown. This is right down the street from where students are attending college at OCU. This is also right down the street from 23rd and Penn, where we have a homelessness crisis, right? So, and by the way, yeah, so I'll just leave it at that for now, but I really would like some help. Please, sir. I know we can do this together.
Yeah, and I'll be glad to talk with Kenny and Joanna from the Alliance side on the economic development, and also with the Chamber on their retail development, to see about, reaching out to see what their plans are, what's happening next. I know we have other sites like this, CVS and Walgreens both closing, leaving kind of like some holes in parts of our community. There's some on Southwest side as well. So definitely something for us to continue to invest in, and I'll have conversations with them.
No, that's great. And by the way, I really appreciate you're saying the right actors, I think, that need to be involved in this. I think it's a coordinated effort, City Manager, so I really appreciate that vision. And then finally, and I really, really appreciate that. Finally, we'd like to invite, again, Ward 2 residents, or whoever would like to join us, but this Thursday at OCU, at the Tom and Brenda McDaniel University Center, which is right adjacent to our library on campus. We're going to have a Ward 2 bond meetup, and this will be an opportunity to have it'll be like a 15-minute introduction to kind of how these projects cohere into a total vision. And then for the next hour, you'll have the opportunity as residents to cut me out as the middleman and go straight to fire and police and parks and public transportation, economic alliance, and learn about the very specific projects that we are proposing in our bond. And so again, that's this Thursday, September 11th from 5:30 to 7, and we'd love to see you there. And with that, I will turn it over to Councilwoman Neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Ward 3.
Well, I can't believe I get to say this, and I'm gonna beat Matt since he's wearing the shirt, but today is Neighbors Night Out. Woo woo, good job repping. So excited to see so many in our community coming together just to have a good time and be able to connect with our neighbors. I think it's so important in building our communities to know who our neighbor is and to know who we can call on in time of need and who we can celebrate with in our joys as well. And other than that, like Councilman Cooper, we've got a lot of town halls and community conversations, I think all over Oklahoma City. They're posted on the Oklahoma City website. So if people have questions about the bond, all of us have been doing research for a long time to know what all was in there and be able to answer questions. And so look forward to meeting many people this week. I think tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow night we have a town hall in Southwest Oklahoma City in Ward 3, and so look forward to seeing many people there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ward 5.
Same thing, Monday night, 6 o'clock at the Southwest Library at 134th and South Penn is the Ward 5 bond meetup. Anybody who wants to come can come learn all about it. We have all kinds of empty retail along 240 that I would love to have some help on too. And lastly, I'd ask you all to keep Councilman Stone's family in your prayers. They're going through some stuff, so thank you.
Ward 6.
Yes, I'd just like to invite any Ward 6 residents to the Ward 6 bond open house is next Thursday, September 18th. I believe it's 4 to 6, kind of come and go at the downtown library on the 4th floor. In the Friends Room, just an opportunity to come and ask questions, get more information. So anyone who'd like to join, love to see you there.
Thank you, Ward 7.
Just want to say a quick thanks to our city staff for coming to the Ward 7 Town Hall on last Thursday. It was a great event. We had a great turnout, but just really appreciate the staff being there to answer questions and just be outstanding like they always are. So, and thank the mayor for giving a welcome too.
My pleasure. Ward 8.
Nothing today, Mayor.
All right, that concludes comments from council. Brings us to item 13, citizens to be heard. Jed Green. And if everybody could state their name, address, and keep their remarks to 3 minutes or less.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jed Green, 2900 Venice Boulevard, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Good to see everyone this morning. I wanted to step out, and while a conversation like this is generally a little premature, I didn't instigate this, so I want to get into it. As some of you may be aware, I'm the key proponent of State Question 837, which would seek to regulate and recognize adult use marijuana in the state of Oklahoma. I'm here to bring this up this morning simply because 2 weeks ago, we saw our State Police Chiefs Association come out against our state question, even though we are simply gathering signatures at this time. We are not yet approved for the ballot. And so that was a little interesting and atypical in what we see in these campaigns. My concern is this. I went and looked at who our Police Chiefs Association is and some things that they had that were very wrong about our state question. And I saw our Oklahoma City Police Chief as part of the banner on the Facebook page. I assume that OKC is part of this association. My simple objection is this a situation where my tax dollars are now being used against an effort that we have? If so, I'm not going to make a big stink about it, but I would like to know if the city of Oklahoma City does pay dues to this association. I just want to know if that's what we're working with. The other thing I would like to point out is that obviously the folks who commented on this have not read the state question or are simply willing to argue against their own self-interest. What does that mean? That means that under State Question 837, we take 10% excise tax on adult use sales. When that happens, unlike the current construct where all dollars go to the state, 40% goes to the state, 30% goes to the county, and 30% goes to the municipality in which those sales occurred. Now, we're not here promising that this is a lottery that's somehow going to save education in our state, but I'm going to tell you right now, these are not small dollar amounts that we are talking about, and we are directing them back into local governments where we believe they will be more efficiently spent. It's no secret that during COVID, that when our medical marijuana program was considered a critical service, that it definitely helped municipalities out with that revenue that was coming in. So before we see further action from NGOs that are supported by our state governments to come out, all we would ask is,
30
hey,
seconds remaining.
simply take a look at this. Simply take a look at this. We would actually like for our city police to do more to actually combat the real illegal synthetics that are being sold in gas stations. At DoorDash, are you aware that Oklahoma City houses the largest illegal drug operation in this state? It's DoorDash.
Thank you, Mr. Green. You're at time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next up is Michael Washington.